This is going to be your guide to using the Warhammer in New World Aeternum. So let's start off with the attributes. You just want to put everything into strength, just like the Great Axe. It only has strength scaling, so this is where you get your crazy amounts of damage. Depending on your gear, depending on what you have, you can get Constitution. If you're having a hard time surviving, you get up to that 200 Constitution, tons of health, 10% armor, 10% armor increase. 10% armor increase, it's good. And then if you have the attuned pants, you can kind of get those extra points for the 5% cooldown reduction, extra damage from critical hits, and then damage at full health depending on your gear, crit chance. But we want to just pour in all of our stats and end up with a crazy base weapon. Weapon Mastery. I really like this loadout because it's tons of AoE damage, also really good perks on the abilities, and you can find sustain. So Crowd Crusher, 35% healing on the Crowd Crusher abilities. So Shockwave, you jump up, you knock everything down. We got Path of Destiny, everyone's out there in the world just kind of spamming it because it's fun. And then Juggernaut just has great mini perks where it's like, okay, 10% armor penetration on basic attacks. We also gain Empower on heavy attacks. We get Grit on heavy attacks. We have more attack damage increases. Potential 35% cooldown reduction on heavy attacks that have bonus damage and Grit and Empower and armor penetration. That's crazy. And then you also have retaliating hits. And then you just follow the Mighty Gavel all the way down. Grit, crit chance, other cooldowns reduced by 10%. You are big spamming and just destroying everything. I never really liked Wrecking Ball or Armor Breaker and Clear Out. You don't want to push all of your enemies out when you have them grouped up and you're crushing them with AoEs, so I don't like that. And then everything else is like too small range, too single target. I mean, like, ooh, 1.5 radius, that does nothing. It's nothing. For your gear, you can do multiple things because we have Trenchant, so you just do a heavy attack that does up to 23% more damage, which is crazy. All of your abilities have Grit, so Thwarting Strikes is just adding damage to pretty much everything you do. I also like the idea of Trenchant Rend. You knock down their armor, and then you just combo into abilities. But also, I'm going for a cooldown build here, where we do Refreshing Mighty Gavel on the weapon, because it gives us more cooldown. So we get 20% on the Gavel, 35% on a heavy attack. We have 10% on kill. We just spam Gavels. We just spam AoEs. We get 10% cooldown on other abilities. This could just be like, you use a heavy attack, and then you use all three of your abilities, and then you use a heavy attack, and use all three of your abilities, and it's ridiculous. I'm going to show the Empowered Retaliate, because we have the Empower DOT on 2100 base damage, which is crazy, and then Critical Chance. This is, it's what you want. Secondary, you just put down an artifact for the magnified damage, but I like having a Great Axe here because you throw in the Gravity Well, it groups them up for the Gavel, and then you have everything you want. Outside of that, like Enchanted, you want to not die immediately, especially if you're playing low Constitution. Then we have Grit Ward, because you have a lot of Grit, but also Enchanted is fine. But you just need to go for Leeching Path of Destiny, and then you also want the Sundering Shockwave. So Path of Destiny heals you for more, keeps you really healthy, which means you aren't as reliant on needing a Blood Drinker. And then Shockwave Rend is 10% armor reduction for 10 seconds. So you make them very frail and very killable, and then you just spam abilities on them. Enchanted Ward, we're just running luck, just kind of show like, yeah, you get whatever, and it's still pretty strong. Get a lot of Constitution, put the Attuned Leather Pants because you have all that fun stuff. Put luck on your pants, because Void, like 2% damage doesn't matter in the long run. And then whatever gems, you know, you can have physical damage absorption if you're taking too much damage. Also, the Wilderness Ward on the Diamond is good, and if you can afford Rune Glass, you can put in Leeching for potentially more healing if you don't have the Blood Drinker, or you can also just go Punishing, and then that gives you free damage, like 5% physical damage potentially, or you get extra luck, and then you pull a God tier item and you sell it and you make all your money back. Divine increases your healing from lifesteal effects, which we just have baked into our kit, or lifesteal from the ring, or something like that. And then regenerating, refreshing, we're spamming, and it's going to be nasty out there. Now, what does the Artifact Hammer give us? Refreshing move, Refreshing Mighty Gavel. Mighty Gavel causes a lightning strike with a 30% weaken, and then 99% damage is converted into lightning, and you get 20% more lightning damage? So we do all of that, and it's just crazy better because we're taking less damage from the weaken. Enemies have less magic resistance compared to physical sources, and then our damage is converted into lightning and just 20% damage on both weapons with lightning. Also, it means we can actually find more damage through lightning harnessing as well as lightning rune glass or whatever it's called. So imagine everything we did, but like 40% more damage? It might be the best thing in the game, actually. And let's look at what we're giving up. Keen, so some critical chance, and or mortal refreshment, or mortal empower, but then we just have the empowered retaliate, which could also get the electric gem. So we stack our electric damage with our harnessing and our DOT. So like every hit just does, I don't know, 900 DOT in electric damage. And then we also get the 24% damage. Gem setting depends on your Warhammer Artifact. Might actually be the strongest individual weapon in the game. And maybe even combo or something. That's crazy. Is that actually it? Is this going to be like the most basic, straightforward guide? I mean, it makes sense if you're hammer, because you just go big hammer, and that's all there is to your entire playstyle here. So the nice thing about this is like, oh yeah, you can open up leeching, Path of Destiny, and the reason why I like it is like, okay, Gravwell comes in, and then now we go boom, and bro, look at that, it's already back. Like Gavel comes back instantly, and then you can get like the huge hit. So yeah, refreshing Gavel one shots everything back up to full health. Then you can do Shockwave if you need like a little bit extra, and then I want to know what this looks like in a mutation or like a weaker and then look, it's back up. So yeah, your heavy attacks aren't it. So it's like you don't need the thwarting strikes as much, or not thwarting, you don't need the trenchant strikes, but thwarting is still pretty good because your Gavel's still going to have grit and all of that. And you're just slamming like a 5,000 crit onto a group of enemies, and stupid things happen from there. So I'm thinking you're in a lower damage, higher health, tankier like group of enemies and like a mutation or something. You have Enchanted Ward because when you start getting like the very high-end content, you don't want to die immediately. And then that actually gives you the just cooldown reduction and the ability spam into enemies that don't die in a single rotation like what we're doing here. Like I said, it's just like really good to also get them nice and stacked up, and then like you hit them with everything, and then you just keep spamming and knocking them down. And look at that, the one heavy attack gives you that extra like 30% cooldown reduction. Empowered Breaker is also great to have because if your stuff gets blocked, you're even stronger. It really is one auto attack, and then depending on how many enemies you hit and how unblocked your attacks are, Gavel is back up, and then if it isn't, you actually get to like leech, Path of Destiny, shockwave them out, do another attack, and then like heavy attacks just mean like, yep, here's your finisher boss move that you're spec'd into. That is it's powerful. That's crazy. And also, if you have the Blood Drinker, you can consider going Carnelian, and then you could just be a tank class, because like you get everyone taunted on you, and then you just leech Path of Destiny, and if you're getting like 4 to 5 from your healers or extra effects like that, and maybe that's where you can not, like if you're playing group content and you're focusing on that, you know, you don't need 500 strength. That's where you can actually just kind of go, fuck it, let's do it here. You go 200 constitution, you get a lot of health, you get a huge increase to your armor. If you have the Void Dark Plate, then yeah, you're just a tank for free without giving anything up, and that's pretty awesome. And then we're losing like 10% damage, which might even have like some weird base scaling to where we don't even feel it, but also we're comfier. We're not getting multi-chain hit down to 30% health and then one-shotting our way back up. We're just vibing and doing great. The Mortal Refreshment might even be overkill on the cooldown reduction, but then think like Mortal Fortification or Mortal Empowered. Ooh, we are flooded, but boom, everything's back up to full. Heavy attack brings us up, just in case we need to clear out, and then we find time for our Gavel, and everything is okay. We probably should have just like opened Gavel instead of, like, the weird thing is like leeching Path of Destiny doesn't leech as hard as you think it would, even though like we hit one person, we just got 2,000 health, so who knows. But then boom, we just Gavel, we clear out, we survive, didn't even activate our Heart Rune, and if we're playing like melee, we should just have a Stone Form Heart Rune, which after one gavel, like, automatically goes back up to full. Alright, let's get all these dudes. Boom, Path of Destiny. Yeah, we just go gavel, and then we wind up a heavy attack, and our gavel's pretty much back. Oh, there we go. One light attack, and it's back, and then another hit, and then that's when we can shockwave while we have that extra second. Now gavel's back up, and then boom, there's our thing. So now we're getting, like, fortification, an extra DR. Oh, gavel's back up. Oh, what's that? They're on us. Clear them out. And then one more heavy attack, and then gavel. And then, actually, like, you don't have to only stand in this straight line. You know, back up a little bit if you got the space. And then that's where we can, hopefully not get staggered out of Shockwave. Do a Shockwave. Oh. Get all of our health back. Into another one of those. And then, boom, there's our gavel for 6,000 damage onto multiple targets. And we just keep slapping whatever we want. Also, if you notice, we hit the gavel. And then they tick from our empowered room glass. So one gavel hit then just converts all of that bonus damage, and if we have arcane harnessing or something, it goes crazy. So I mean, like, wow, 600 extra damage on that tick on an ability, and then we can refresh it or do like quicker ticks inside of it, and it's still just pretty crazy. So yeah, hammer strong, and it's like pretty unga bunga, easy to build out, and probably just does really wacky things and more drawn out fights where it's like, yeah, we are just perma refreshing gavel. We're getting more benefits and like empowered from our allies and stuff, and it's just super wacky. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.